This is about food. Well, it's more about Halloween. A Missouri man has broken the world record in Guinness for growing the world's largest pumpkin, and it weighed in at over 2,600 pounds. It was incredible. It's over 2,000. It's 2706, I believe, was the final. And the guy talked about it. He named it Michael Jordan.
This thing's not going to weigh on a 4x4 scale. I said it needs something bigger. I mean, the thing's 7'5" long by 6'7". But yeah, they had to buy a new scale for it. This thing's been surprising. This thing's named Michael Jordan because it's 23 and the greatest basketball player of all time. So the only thing we got to figure out is it the greatest pumpkin of all times.
It was 23 years old.
It was his 23rd attempt at growing the pumpkin. And he started back. He said it's like a 6-month labor of love. You start back in.
That's true. That's one season, right?
That's it. Yeah. So he had an early spring.
They never look like pumpkins, though. They just look like blobs.
That's what he said. And it's like tall. And
I know people get into it. I'm not impressed with the giant pumpkin records.
I was going to ask you, are you impressed with giant pumpkin records?
I generally am not. I mean, it's just, they're just dumping all kinds of chemicals on it.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Well,
you can't eat it.
Here's the call.
2749! That's a world record! World record!
2,749 pounds.
LFG!
Yep. They're excited about that.
They kind of rank up there with fishermen that cheat.
Well,
I don't know why.
if you remember, 3 years ago, somebody set the record, but they disqualified it because after further review, there was a tiny crack in it the size of a thumbnail, and if it's cracked, it doesn't count.
That's right.
So they have to be very careful the way they transport it and so forth. Here, listen.
Is there one way in, or do you do these at state fairs all across the
I
country?
think there's a state fairs around the country.
Yeah.
But that one won at the state fair. I think it's Iowa State Fair. And that one weighed in, you heard, over 2,700 pounds. Now, let's see if you're impressed with this record, also involving a pumpkin. All right? Not growing a pumpkin, but traveling on a pumpkin. A Missouri man traveled 38 miles down the Missouri River from Kansas City to Napoleon on a 1,208-pound pumpkin boat he called Huckleberry. He hollowed it out and traveled on it, and Guinness has confirmed this is the longest pumpkin voyage we've had.
There were others?
In history, yeah. That's right.
Okay.
Steve Kenny spent 11 hours inside his 1,300-pound pumpkin to travel down that river to keep it afloat. He had a difficult time, apparently, keeping it, but it hollowed out.
Well, it's a pumpkin.
He's sitting inside of it.
Is he shocked?
And he was able to row down the Missouri River. Now, does that impress you?
More than giant pumpkin.
More than giant pumpkin.
In my mind.
Because he hollowed it out, and
you do sort of have to keep it upright.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe he selected that stretch of the Missouri where there aren't too many rapids.
That was it. He didn't want it breaking apart in the That's why it took so long. He had to keep rowing down the river, of course. You know,
the river's going to take you down anyway.
Yeah, and it did, but slowly. And I saw a picture of him inside that hollowed out pumpkin.
Something tells me he's not in a rush.
No, probably not. He said what was the most difficult about it was cold and slimy, and it took him a long time to get the 38.
You can't put a blanket in there or anything?
He tried to put a blanket on his legs, but nonetheless, he was sitting under, on the. Eventually, he got down to where he was on the pumpkin slime, and
so his pumpkin was half the size of the other guy.
Correct. Yeah, a little less than half the size.
Still immense.
Yeah, 1,200, 1,300-pound pumpkin, absolutely.
Did he look as dumb as it sounds?
It did. It did look just as dumb as it sounds.
It sounds really stupid.
Have you seen that? Like the hottest Halloween decoration is this tall talking pumpkin?
Yeah,
from Target.
Lewis,
I've seen that.
Yes.
Lewis the talking pumpkin. I heard about it like 2 days ago, and now it's everywhere.
People obsess over it.
Oh, you can't find them. They're sold out everywhere.
This is Lewis the talking pumpkin.
I am not a jack-o'-lantern.
Stop treating me like
I am not a jack-o'-lantern. My name is Lewis.
I am not a jack-o'-lantern. My name is Lewis.
I want
Don't
one.
get it twisted.
You want one of those?
Absolutely.
It looks cool.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it. I just heard it.
It's really tall.
Huge. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's probably 10 feet
And he's
tall.
wearing like black robes, but it's got a giant pumpkin head, jack-o'-lantern
It's like
face.
those big skeletons you might see in people's front
I
yards
see a
that
lot
are
of those,
10,
yeah.
12 feet high.
Huge.
What's the origin of this? Is it just
I don't know.
some company
Somebody
made
made
up?
a TikTok about it, and it blew up.
Yeah.
It's funny. It sounds like somebody was messing around with the recordings and accidentally left it.
Yeah.
Like the guy recording the voice was like, "My name is Lewis."
I am not a jack-o'-lantern. My name is Lewis.
I I love it.
Lewis.
I love it. I want one.
Attitude.
Good luck. I mean, you can't find them anywhere, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Target had them, and people try to order them online. They can't get them now.
There's the video I saw this morning. Maybe it's the one that started the craze, but someone had taken like a Target employee name tag and it said, "My name is Lewis."
Oh, well, there, yeah.
and stuck it to him.
There you
good.
are. My name is
Lewis.
Lewis.
How much are they?
Adamant about that.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. How much are like the 10-foot tall?
I think that was about. When I looked online, I think it was about $200.
Yeah, that's pricey. It's
200.
It's pricey. Yeah, they're expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Those skeletons. I was going to say like 150 to 200.
Their eyes, because somebody in my neighborhood has one. They blink and light up their eyes.
On the skeleton. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen a bunch of those this year.
A lot of them. Yeah.
Out already. The other record holder, and this is unfortunate. Some are calling it the Kelly curse, but I just will not take the blame for this. A 104-year-old skydiver who we talked about on our air 10 days ago, 12 days ago, she broke the record for being the oldest skydiver. They're still making sure of that, but we believe she holds the record. She's from Chicago, and she's 104 and did a skydive, which she led. It was a tandem jump, but she was like in charge of it and wanted to be just that. Dorothy Hoffner, she died in her sleep 2 nights ago.
Hell.
I'm not taking the blame for
No, I got an email. It was like, "Look what Kelly did." And I'm like,
I am not taking.
And I wrote back to this. I said,
reject?
"Nah, I don't think so on this one. She's 104."
104 now. But I mean, she was. We heard her and read her story, and she looked absolutely spry for 104, and literally did the jump and had the landing and everything. Chris Demm said, didn't her bones break when she landed?
No, she stuck the landing.
She did beautifully. She died at the Brookdale Senior Living Center. Confirmed that she died in her sleep a couple of nights ago.
Smile on her face.
That's a life well lived
Did
there.
what she wanted to do.
I mean, right up to the end, she was skydiving and speaking coherently about it, and then dies in her sleep. There's no but more. That's the way to do it, right?
Yeah.
That's the life well lived. That's what everybody said about her.
Is that the hashtag goals for you, Kelly?
Absolutely. To do that, to live to be. Now, I wouldn't skydive.
Except with the thrills.
Right. No thrills. But to be 104 and still be able to talk about somebody skydiving and then die in your sleep, that's it.
But it might have been the thrills that kept her alive that long.
What might have been?
Yeah,
it
if
could
you don't
be.
have the thrills, you're just going to sit there and look at football all day.
You're right. Or old episodes of Three's Company.
Or that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe you have to go out there and do a little something, which is what she said next. She wanted to do a hot air balloon ride, but she never got to. Bad. That was the last
Same.
thing.
Oh, they can take her ashes up in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should take her ashes up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
And that's what we'll
dump
do
it
for
on a
Chris Demm.
highway.
Chris Demm never got to do a.
I saw one. I
saw-
stood there as it went up.
Well, we'll put Chris Demm's ashes in a chase vehicle.
Yeah.
That's what he got
In the
to
van.
do in a van and sit it next to his wife, his grieving widow, and that's how he'd want to be remembered. That's what he did on that first date that time in the chase vehicle.
That's really fitting in a hot air balloon. And then, here's your last skydive.
Yeah.
Pour her out.
Let's pour her out. Pour some out for her.
Yeah.
Pour her out over the highway. One more follow-up, also involving a plane. Chris Demm brought us this story yesterday, and now we have audio of it. This was late in a Demm report. A woman in New York has been stalked. Now, she worked at a restaurant in New York, and a guy went in there 4 years ago and apparently was smitten with her.
Yeah, he ordered soup. At her restaurant.
At her restaurant, and his name is Michael Arnold. Her name is Cassandra Willits. He's 65 years old, and she said he became so infatuated with her that he started stalking her with his plane from above, a single-engine plane.
4 years.
For 4 years, and they couldn't do anything about it. Now, finally, he's been arrested, but we have her now talking about that and the fact that she knew that he was doing it very early, but he's never admitted to doing it.
He does 3 to 5 circles directly over my home.
So she would see that, and they showed the plane going over her house. And then at one point, this is what the reporter asked her about, and Chris Demm had this in his Demm report. He bombed some tomatoes down on her property.
You even drop tomatoes on your house?
He dropped them on my 4Runner, and it was like craters all within our yard.
Yeah, he dropped them all over her car and yard. But what he said was, I don't even know this person. What is she talking about?
Did he explain the tomatoes?
He could never explain the tomato. The two things he couldn't explain. One, he said, I'm just taking pictures from the air. I mean, that's what
He's a
I
photographer.
do. I don't even know this woman. I ordered soup at a restaurant one time. But he could not explain the tomatoes, and he couldn't explain when they went and got him, he had pictures of the woman in his house.
He had also sent her images of himself semi-nude.
Correct.
from his bedroom.
Correct.
And talked about taking her to a nude beach in Costa Rica.
Now, aren't you surprised it took 4 years to
Yes.
get this guy? She said it was absolutely horrifying.
I knew that it was specifically targeted at me because at that time, he was already sending me aerial photos of my house, of my property, of my car.
Unbelievable.
Maybe here this is just a legal thought that just occurred to me. If he's sending her this disturbing material, which we seem to have verified,
Right.
You know, the nude pictures or the semi-nude pictures,
Right.
That's harassment. So she did get an order of protection, a restraining order in the parlance of our time.
Right.
But if he's flying 300 feet above her,
Yeah.
is he not? He's not violating the order.
What's the crime?
Right?
Right.
Yeah. And maybe that's the thing.
But when he drops tomatoes on her,
Yeah, you can't be dropping.
Yeah.
things.
that's some sort of assault. Well, of course, he could just say, well, I had a bushel of tomatoes and they accidentally fell out.
I don't
Yeah.
think you could.
I banked hard left.
Yeah.
It's pretty claim.
What's he?
I mean, really, you
in
can
a
explain.
biplane with a big hole in the back.
A bushel basket.
If you get a good enough lawyer, you can really explain all that. You I send those nude pictures to everybody.
If I like their soup, look, I climb in bed and have the soup.
Yeah.
That's a challenge for our own attorney, Lisa Lanier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you get this guy off
Will
the
she
hook?
take their case?
I invite everybody to a nude beach in Costa Rica. Here's my proof.
What of it? Don't you? Well,
Come by every day in his plane, 5 o'clock Charlie.
unbelievable. Yeah, she said
must
it
be
was
5.
just all the time. The mayor of the small town said this whole town's up in arms.
I've gotten text messages and I've gotten calls from residents, and they just feel scared. The mental state of this guy is in question. No one knows whether or not he's going to crash into their home.
Ooh, I never thought about
Now,
that.
what they're going to well, you don't really know what he's going to do. It was
He's
pretty
obsessed,
serious.
though,
It's
isn't
pretty
he?
serious. Oh, absolutely.
Beyond obsessed.
So what I don't know, and you probably had this in the Demm report yesterday. How long is he going to be in jail? Because if he gets out, he's going to start doing it again.
He's getting out.
Yeah.
of course.
I can't imagine they keep you long for
Right.
violating a restraining
That's
order.
what I was thinking.
If he's throwing stuff out of a plane, they might be able to take his license away.
True.
Now that's what they should do. Take
Ground him.
Yeah.
Yeah, ground him, clip his wings.
Is it against the rules to throw tomatoes out of a?
Over a neighborhood, I
Out of
would
a plane.
think
I bet it's not
there's-
specifically written.
I don't know if there's a
Maybe-
code law on it, but
Well, maybe his excuse would be, I thought she liked tomatoes. I'm trying to give her, for a salad,
that's right.
Yes.
summer salad.
This is a vegetable desert.
She made tomato soup, and I thought
Yeah.
I'd help her.
Why not?
Look, I'm not good face to face.
This guy's unbelievable.